Welcome to Motherhood and the Unfiltered and the Autism edition with the Ekta. The first one on my own and many more to come, hopefully. So today I'll be having my first guest speaker, and my first guest speaker, and her name is Amran, and she's also an author that's written a book called Sins of SEN Mum. So I'll introduce myself first, then we go into the introduction with you. So I'm a mother of two boys. My eldest has got like the ASD and he's also got like the epilepsy, so he's four. Currently I've packed them away to my mother-in-law, so I got the house obviously like more peaceful and quiet for me to do the podcast. He's currently at nursery. He's got you know, all his pathways on the right path. Like for example, he's in SALT, he's in pediatrician, he's kind of under CAMS, but he's not been actually like referred because he doesn't need it. So he's also I think he non-verbal. He's starting to say a few key words, like key dad. He started saying mom now. And that's because his younger brother, who's like neurotypical, he's all right, touch wood. So he's learning. So like the Ivan's learning from a youngest kind of thing. So he's picking up more words. So yeah, so we have more meltdowns and everything. And being like a full-time carer, because I was laid off my work like a year and a half, because I've been working out remotely. So I turned to be like full-time carer for him because I couldn't actually work at that time, so I wasn't focusing well. So yeah, so then yeah, so it's been a journey. Like me and my husband are like finding it tough sometimes because we're like, you know how there's like a rating through like the couples and they don't actually like basically like they find it hard to actually like kind of like thinking manage the neurodivergent like child or like family like communication and stuff. So then there's like a divorce rate kind of like really high now, isn't it? So it's just like we're grateful that we've got that communication level, and then we need to actually like be organized and stuff. So there's a lot of like thingy planning that gets involved with Ivan, and also like it's just like my concern is more when he goes out, say like he has no awareness of road safety, he would just run. So then now we have to like lock the doors if like I go out or my husband goes out just to the car and stuff, because he would just literally leg it, like even when we come back and stuff. And like he's got his reins on as well. And if we don't actually hold him on, he will just run. So yeah, it's a bit of up and down phase, but yeah, that's me in a nutshell. So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Amran Awale, author of Sins of SEN Mum. I have three beautiful, amazing daughters. Oldest is 13, was diagnosed with ASD and ADHD last year. My middle child, Maya, she's 12, she's neurotypical. And then I have my youngest, Nia, who was diagnosed just before she was 3 with ASD. And I wrote Sins of a Sen Mum purely because I had looked around and I was reading all these books and they were self-help books and what to do. And I didn't really see anyone's journey that resonated with mine. Um, I wanted to more talk about before the diagnosis, noticing the signs and living in that limbo between waiting for appointments, going to speech and language, and the denial around it. Whilst I knew that something was going on, I don't think I was ever ready for the word autism at that time. Um, and so I wrote down 3 years ago, started writing down everything that had happened because it was like a PTSD. It stayed in my brain the whole journey. And I started writing. And by the time I had got to like the sixth chapter, I was like, no, I need to get this out there. Like, this is something that I haven't seen. And I thought, be real, be raw, be honest, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So in the first chapter, I just talk about when she started to regress, which was around 1 year old, and me going to the health visitor and being turned down because she was so young to get any support, and then having to go back because my gut wouldn't let me. So my background was I worked in a nursery all my life, so I had my childcare level 3. So I knew the neurotypical signs, but I hadn't really dealt with neurodiversity back then. I'd worked in a nursery for 10 years, and I think I came across one child with autism in that whole 10 years of working in early years. So for me, I didn't understand it at all. And when they had said to me, oh, we're going to put her on the pathway for autism, it was like, she doesn't fit the characteristics. Back then it was the stereotype and it was based on boys. Yeah, the
Yeah,
criteria was solely based on boys.
it's
So it
not
was
true.
very difficult for me. Yeah, it was very difficult for me to hear the word autism and relate it to my child. But I did. I later on went down the rabbit hole of finding out about girls with autism, and that made me be like, yep, that's my child. I understand.
Yeah,
And it sort of became an obsession. It
yeah,
really did. I went down the rabbit hole of finding out all these things and learning all these interventions. And it took up so much of my life.
oh
I
God,
found myself isolated from family and friends just because opinions were too much. My child was like yours. She
yeah,
eloped. So
yeah,
she didn't have no danger awareness. And so many
yeah,
people had opinions like, you need to discipline, you need to do this. And the
yeah,
understanding was there for me to discipline. You're
yeah, that's
asking
the
me
thing.
to do
Yeah, like that's the thing. Because they're not in, obviously, like it's not nice to say our families are not in our shoes, but it's just like they're not in our shoes to even like give us advice. Like the advice is good, but it's just like live in a house for 12, 24 hours and see what happens. Like I get that a lot, and I'm like, come and live with us for 12, 24 hours and you will see the reality of it. It's not as bad, but it does get bad to an extent, thinking we can't even like we literally I think fidget most of the time. We have to have eyes all the way around our head. It's just hectic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just used to get so much advice about do's and don'ts and culture and religion. And I was just like, nobody actually understands
Yeah.
what I am going through.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot tell me just discipline her, shout at her, or tell her off and
They're
she'll
not gonna
listen. That
know.
doesn't
Yeah.
work. Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't understand. The understanding's not there.
Yeah.
So what would work for a neurotypical child is not going to work in my household. And it was almost like a judgment on me and my parenting. And that was a very hard aspect for me. So sooner or later, I stopped attending events just because I didn't want to have to justify myself or my child.
Yeah.
So I almost became completely isolated, very limited people around me. And like I said, I went down the rabbit hole of autism. So when my daughter went into nursery, like I would always give them advice. Probably they disliked me because I gave so much unsolicited advice of, oh, I've read this and you should do this and you should do
Yeah.
that. But they were really good to her. They were really good to me. And when she had gone off to school and reception, I went to work at the nursery that she used to previously go to.
Yeah.
And the owner there, God bless her, she knew I had this obsession with autism. And she was like, why don't we train you up to be a Senko? And I was
Yeah.
like, really?
Wow.
And she was like, yeah, like, let's train you up. And I was like, okay, fantastic. So she put me on all the courses. And I was doing really great in the role because one, I resonate with families, that hard conversation to sit there
Yeah.
and say, we've identified some needs and how we can best support children. I kind of really thrived in the role, but I wanted
You're quite
so
lucky.
much more.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah,
was
I
quite
was
lucky to get
really,
into
really
it.
lucky.
and
Yeah. And
and you got offered
then
it, yeah. Carry on, sorry.
but she knew I was obsessed. That's the thing. When I was dropping off
Yeah,
my daughter, I'm there with papers in hand, just
papers
saying
and
like, "Oh, do
research.
this, try." Yeah, she knew I
Yeah,
was obsessed, and she knew I had my level 3. So she really, I'm very grateful to her. She gave me an opportunity to shine, and I did. I took it and I shined. And I decided to go to university because I felt like the training just wasn't enough. So I
yeah,
applied for a foundation degree in special educational needs and inclusive practice. So I done that for 2 years, and then I completed my bachelor's the third year, went in and got my bachelor's in special educational
yeah,
needs and inclusive practice. And then I decided to start a fantastic CIC
yeah.
company where I support
Right.
parents and
Yeah,
children. like myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, then finished the book, and we're here today.
Oh God, this has been my lifesaver. I literally, obviously, like I'm in like probably like chapter 4 now, and it's been amazing. Like I've, it's good of reading about someone else's experience because even though I'm so early into the journey and I'm still finding out, doing my research and stuff, speaking obviously to moms like yourself and stuff, and it's given me a hope of life kind of thing for me to carry on and getting the support for Yvonne because I know that as much as research I can get into me and keep talking to health professionals and attending workshops because I've been attending workshops now. Like, for example, like the Henry workshop, I've attended that and I've completed it and stuff. Then I've been attending like family support workshop and stuff. So it's kind of like giving me the confidence because, like you said, you feel so isolated, you feel alone because you don't even want to actually like go out or meet meet people and stuff because you feel on edge because you don't know what's going to happen because everything is just like on the spot. It's just something like the unexpected because it's just like like he or she's going to do this. I won't be able to sit down for these few seconds just how like think other parents are with the child. So it's just like it causes like the anxiety and it like makes you scared thinking, it's better to stay home than rather go out and stuff. Like, do you kind of feel that way sometimes?
Absolutely. In the beginning, that's exactly how I felt. I felt
Yeah,
like going out was too much. I couldn't control the situation outside.
yeah,
There's cars, there's people, even simple things like going to
a
Asda
shop.
was
Yeah,
a mission of its own with a child who couldn't handle the lights, the smell, or
yeah,
the noises whilst you're shopping and would have a meltdown. And you
yeah,
have people kind of looking at you like, what are you doing? Sort out
yeah.
your
Like they
child, but it's
stare at
like,
you, don't
I'm telling
they?
you, no.
Yeah,
They do. That stare is absolutely horrible. And in the beginning, it
yeah,
was I didn't have the confidence back then and I didn't understand it all. So for me, I took people's judgment and I took it really, really personally.
yeah,
I don't now. Obviously, I'm confident now, but back then, and that's why I wrote the book, because I want people to know that this is a normal part of the journey to feel
yeah,
like this. And as you understand more, I always say to parents, get yourself in workshops like you're doing, absolutely amazing. There's
yeah,
carers forums for
yeah,
parents as well. There's so many things out there, and it's about finding your community, sitting there with
yeah,
other parents who this is normal to them.
yeah,
And it took me years to find that village. It took me so long. But now that I have that village, we go on play dates, we go to play areas, and no one is made to feel uncomfortable because
yeah,
we all get it. We're all in the same boat.
yeah. No, it's brilliant. Um, so um, so basically, we've already like spoke about life around I think autism. Um, is there any points you wanna like highlight with navigating life around it, especially to the audience that will actually see this later on? Um, is there any things that you think that other parents that are going through this starting or even if they're later on into the journey that might pick up, oh, this happens with me as well, or like I'm going through this and stuff. Is there any like bits that you want to like a thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think emotional and mental well-being for
yeah,
parents is such a huge thing. Like
yeah,
we are doing a lot. We're going to the assessments, we're going
yeah,
to schools, we're advocating for our children, but we're not actively advocating for ourselves.
yeah,
We need to take that minute. Mental health is wealth. And I always say this, I do therapy once a week. Online because I would never get the opportunity to go out and actually sit somewhere for an hour.
yeah,
But I use BetterHelp. My therapist has been with me about a year now, and that has made all the difference. He gives me like group There's different workshops that you can enter in there as well. So there's
Yeah,
different classes. But he's helped me to work through so many different things.
yeah,
He prioritizes self-care. Like, I'd be honest, if it wasn't for him pushing for me to do self-care, I
yeah,
wouldn't do little things like just treating myself to go to the coffee shop with my headphones in
yeah.
and
Even if
just
it's
sitting
five
there and
minutes.
enjoying.
Yeah,
Even if it's 5 minutes before you have to run and go and do your food
yeah,
shopping. But
yeah,
I would say definitely prioritize your well-being. We
yeah,
are burnt out. We
yeah,
can't be the best parents, the best advocates if we're not taking care of ourselves.
yeah.
So I really implore people to do that little self-care, whether it's 5 minutes extra in the
Yeah,
bathroom just to soak in the bath.
yeah,
Something to prioritize you, I think,
yeah,
is very important in our journey.
yeah, that's right. Because like first, I think it's been like for like a couple of months now. I picked up the actual like the courage because I can think I'm like a shy and like was and like an introvert. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Introvertant person? So then like because of the situation, because obviously like I'm navigating around the actual like, the autism life as well, and I feel like I get panic attacks. I don't want to go out. And then recently, for a couple of months, I've been taking that time to actually like going out my comfort zone now because I feel like I've lost myself where I was a year and a half ago, like nearly 2 years now. And
Mm,
it's been hard because I have to like find my feet again. Like now, all these workshops have helped me, and even get like like when both of them at nursery because they go like in the morning session only for like 15 hours. So then I think Yvonne will go 30 hours in September. So he'll be doing a whole day. So that's going to be a whole new actual like life for me. Thinking, oh, how's he going to be all day? Because he's so used to doing like half a day. So I'm like, is he going to get more tired when he comes back? Is he going to get more meltdowns when he comes back? So I'm not thinking ahead of that. I'm going to think when it comes to it because if I'm thinking about it now, I'm going to really stress. So I've like push that like behind my head. But yeah, so I'm going out like to shops when they're at nursery, and and just even like I because we moved to that Wolverhampton area for about 3 years now. I basically the first time I've been struggling to find like an eyebrow shop, and the first time I thought I'm gonna do my eyebrows now, and that was the best
mm,
5 minutes to myself. Even if it was a couple of minutes, I felt like me again. Like recently, obviously, I think I don't do my nails. I don't do any pampering. Since obviously our lives changed, and then I bought I think nail polish, and I felt so alive again. I felt like even a little nail like literally like lifts our mood up. And these little things you take so for granted because it's just like, you know, you feel like, oh, your life's just changed, but it's changed for the better because like how we all say as I think SEN parents, other like we take this for granted, like other people would take this for granted, and we like to like how do I say, we take that upon like the opportunity, like, you know what, this feels amazing. We haven't felt like this for time. And it's just like yeah, if you know where I'm coming from, it's hard
yeah,
to,
no, absolutely.
yeah,
It's hard to put yourself first and do these little things, but they do. I mean, a few weeks ago, I went to an event. It's called You Matter Too, and it was created by a Sen mum. And
yeah,
so she has once a year, she rents a place, and there's hairdressers there, nail techs there, a
yeah,
massage lady there, eyebrow lady there,
yeah,
and food and drinks and stuff. And you go
yeah.
there, and for like £22, you're getting pampered for the
That's
whole
right.
day. And it's
Yeah,
all SEN parents.
wow.
Yes, it's all SEN parents. The lady's called Lush London is her company, and the event is called You Matter Too. Her name is Katisha. She's a
Are
SEN
you
parent
from
herself,
London,
and she's
by the way?
created. Yes, so I live
You're
in
from London.
London,
Yeah.
West London.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So she creates this event once a year, and I went there and I had all of these things done. Like I got a 20-minute massage, and I came out of there and I felt so happy. It was
Yeah,
the first time I'd had my nails done in so long, but I just felt so new. I came home, my spirit was lifted, and it was a
relax.
good, good day. And
Yeah,
those things there, it's so needed, but it's not until you've done it that you're like, okay, maybe I'm missing something.
yeah, yeah. I think that's right. And also like we can like tend to get really like think emotional like thinking, oh, like when do we get the chance to do things like now, like for example, like coping mechanisms like with mine and stuff. I like I can get I think easy upset if something bugs me. I'll just cry easily, and I think basically the only thing that will bug me is in terms of like it's in a good way. It's just like if no one's actually understanding where you're coming from. Do you sometimes sense that you have to like improve yourself to others? Like for
What do you
example,
mean?
like person said to you, "Oh, um, I've been looking after the kids in like obviously like they're not a SEN parent, so they will say to you, "Oh, because I was working in nursery and I was also looking after like the autism children, and I know how you're feeling." But but in not in a mean way. You're not actually a SEN parent. You're just a nursery teacher, like a nursery room, like a leader. And fair enough, if you are like managing the like like a few like the autism like the children, but you're coming back home to your family and think all normal. That makes sense. But then
Yeah.
do you like think about putting your shoes in our shoes? Like I was saying earlier to you, it's just like people think that they understand. Like there's lots of other videos on Instagram now, whereas I think the male parents like have been at the ranting on TikTok and Instagram saying, "Oh, do not give me that advice because you're not in our situation. You know, give us as much as you can." But it's just like we know what we're dealing with. Like we know what's best for our child. Now, like with Yvonne, he's basically he doesn't eat any wet food, only like the crunch food, like like the beige food, what's it called? I think he would eat like nothing, a lot of fruit, uh, and these snacks. Sometimes he can go like without water as well, but I have to always have to like prompt him, and he never has like a nap nowadays. Obviously, he's like been out of a nap for like nearly 2 years now, and like if he overwhelms himself, like if he over like stimulates himself by playing inside or in the garden or going outdoors for a walk, and just say about 4 or 5 o'clock, he wants to go to bed. He will not eat. And we have to prompt him to eat. We have to prompt him to actually like, sit there. Like now he won't sit there on the dining table. He will now like the walk and eat because he knows he's got his like the younger brother to actually like mess around with now. Before when he was born in 2020, but really like 2 years ago now, well, I need I think 3 years ago now. And when he was born, my youngest now he's two going on like the 3 in December, and Yvonne's gonna be 5 in November. And and basically he used to like hit him or like like squeeze his cheeks. And as he's growing up, he will like they pull his hair even more, grab him, jump on him, push him and stuff. And it's just like I think that is what I think triggers us more. It's just like like we know that you're overstimulated, you're overtired and stuff. You're trying to get our attention. Don't know if it's that thing of jealousy still. We pay more attention with him, but we still give our most attention to Vaughn because his need. Yeah, so like thinking Yvonne will have like the loads of meltdowns, and it's just like he would get like the floppy would pick him up because he's a tall boy for his age, so he's 4, and he's a tall boy, and he's like his weight is getting heavy now, so I can never like pick him up. But when my husband's at work, it gets harder for me because I'm like I have to just like be in my zone. Like when my husband's off work, he will actually like help me and stuff. So it's just like how do I navigate looking after Ivan more as he's growing, because I don't want him to like start like hitting me or anything. Like it hasn't got to that extent, but it's just like how do I work around that now as he's growing up? Like obviously I don't want to think further in the future and what's going to happen. I'm just going to be in the now moment, if that makes sense. So I just want to ask, like, does your child go through like the actual, I think, hitting phase, or I think she hasn't actually like think done that?
So she went through a biting phase
Yeah,
and pushing when she was younger.
yeah,
But again, it was more her understanding wasn't there. So although I would still tell her no, like she didn't understand. So I decided to get her things that she could bite,
yeah,
sensory toys that she could put in her mouth and stuff.
yeah,
She wasn't a fan of those at all.
yeah.
Um, but it was all about redirection, if I'm honest.
Okay.
So if I found she was drawing towards doing something, I would redirect her with her interests. So, for example, she used to enjoy cars spinning. So I would tip something upside down and spin it, and it would distract her from what she was doing. So I tend to find redirection does tend to work with any child, really. If
Yeah,
they're about to do something, if you could distract them and take them somewhere else, then that tends to work. And also, my daughter was quite big for her age as well. And I talk about her not being in the pushchair because she was 2, but she looked about 4 years old. She
yeah,
looked really, really big.
yeah,
So I ordered the backpack from Amazon with the reins.
yeah,
Like the backpack would go around her and the reins would tie on her wrist. And I had a lot of comments about that. People said that I was turning her into a dog by carrying a lead. People's opinions wasn't very nice, but at the same time, they didn't have the understanding of how dangerous it was having a child who's not safety aware.
yeah,
So for me, them thoughts went to the back of my mind. My priority was keeping my child safe. So I think in most cases, I've learned to get thick skin. It's not nice,
yeah,
but I've learned to get thick skin because people will always have an opinion. If you're doing something, somebody knows better. And that can sometimes even be within the SEN community
yeah,
itself. You
yeah,
will meet some SEN parents who will say, well, I did this and I did that. That works for your child and your household. Not every child who has autism is the same. They're not the same. Sorry, a call came in.
okay,
Not all child, not every child who has autism is the same.
yeah,
So although your child, that might work for you and your household,
yeah,
that doesn't mean it's going to work for mine. Granted, you could give advice, but
yeah.
I've had send parents be judgmental too, like, well, my child doesn't hit anybody. Why does yours? And it's like,
I was
again, we are
because
all the same.
yeah. See, the thing is, like, I like basically like thinking if I like thinking interact with other sim parents, they would be like, oh, like, okay, my child's never done this, but then like your child's doing this, but it's just like I don't like basically like, it's just about comparing like each other, isn't it? And like, I don't really get one thing about that. It's just like why are you comparing every time? It's like now, you know, um like for example at nursery, I always think like is Yvonne picking up the hitting at nursery, but then I always get like confirmation from the teachers saying Yvonne isn't learning hitting. There's no one. there's no child hitting in the actual like in classroom because he's in a mainstream nursery, but he's in the resource space, and there's probably like I think about 10, probably like 10 children. There's probably like so many aides in there. But it's just like obviously like because they don't have cameras as well. But I always said like to my husband, so I would love to see how special needs children are together in a room because it would be so fascinating to see like what they're doing, like how they're stimming, how they're interacting, you know, if they're doing the work or not. Obviously, like, there are some like severe children also in that room, but then they have like a little space, like a little area. If that child is getting too hard to manage, they will put that child in that little box area, and then one aide will be with that child. So that's a good thing because they don't want that child to be hitting the other children. Um, and there was one child when we was going on to like a trip, but it was next door to the nursery, so it was like a musical experience. And basically, as we're sitting inside the actual like classroom, I was just looking around, seeing like what all the children were doing, and thing with their parents. And there was one child, um, he was literally like having a full meltdown. Obviously, it's my first experience seeing other children because when Ivan goes to like just say if he gets through like a special school or like a primary setting, or like in a mainstream with a resource base again. And I've never seen how other like the children are like, especially when they got needs. So this was like an eye opener for me, kind of thing. The starting of to see other children and their life, and then
Mm.
he's banged his head on the floor like back down, and then as the teachers picked him up, obviously like he's banged his head on the corner, and it's just like that scared me. It's just like oh my god, like they are even like I'm lucky enough Ivan isn't that severe. He's okay. He's really clever and stuff. He's learning quickly, but it's just that social communication aspect and the hitting bit. But it's just like, oh my God, like it was just like an eye opener thinking, okay, there are other children that are really like severe in forms of like how they're having their meltdowns and stuff, there are actually children that have like even more additional needs. I think that was like a wake up call for me because I thought Ivan was the only like child doing that, but seeing another child do that, I felt like comfort. Um, like
Mm.
like with your child, like does she go to like a special school or does she go mainstream with the resource space, or do you do like home learning?
So for my youngest,
Yeah.
she went into a mainstream.
Okay.
And then when I got her into mainstream, she didn't have an educational healthcare plan at the time. So she was only getting speech and language.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I went to tribunal that I secured the educational healthcare plan for her.
Yeah.
And she's thriving in a mainstream school. Do I think that she'd be able to attend a mainstream secondary school? I don't think so, purely based on my older one who was at a mainstream secondary school and then had to be pulled out because the school could not cope with her needs. They sat me down and told me, we can't meet your child's needs.
Yeah.
So currently, right now, she is home educated. She
Okay.
does online
Yeah.
learning through
Did she find that
Interkings
better?
Academy.
Does she find that better because like I think
Totally.
she's in her comfort now?
Apps. She's thrived. This is the child who went into year 7
Yeah.
academically bright, academically forward, and fell right down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Because when we're looking at a mainstream secondary school, we're talking about they're changing classes every 50 minutes, the hallway's busy.
Yeah.
You don't have the same teacher, it's different teachers for 5 different lessons within the day. It was all too much for her. So academically, she went downhill. And then she got really depressed and she went into psychosis. And at the end, it was like, what am I doing here?
Mm.
Like, I need to find a way to better help my child because I was working at the time and I was getting 3, 4 phone calls from the school a day, and I was running to the school and helping her because she was having panic attacks.
Yeah,
And in the end, when the school was honest enough, it's not very many schools that you will find that will be honest with you and say, we cannot meet needs.
yeah,
They sat me down and said, we cannot meet needs. And the local authority, SEN department, denied her an educational healthcare plan, which was extremely silly.
yeah,
I had to go to tribunal to secure that as well. So whilst I'm being a mum and trying to work and dealing with SEN children, I'm also training to be a SEN solicitor at this point, the amount of times I've gone to tribunal.
yeah.
And yeah, I secured her educational healthcare plan. And currently, the school are paying for the online learning because she's
Okay.
still enrolled at the school,
Yeah,
but they can't meet her needs. So they're paying for the online schooling until we go to tribunal. And
yeah,
she's awarded the online school full time through the courts.
yeah,
But it's battle after battle.
yeah,
But I wouldn't now do that to my youngest child with ASD. I know that mainstream secondary school is not going to work for her.
yeah,
Unfortunately, I learnt the hard way through my oldest. So
yeah,
she will probably be home educated too when it comes to secondary school.
yeah. So then, like, did you always wanted to put them in mainstream, or did you thought, okay, if, like, for example, like, as the girls that then grew up, like, they were in that age to go into, I think, primary and secondary. Did you think for a second, like, what if the school can't manage, like they can't manage now, and then you have to resort with your eldest going into, like, the home learning. But then, like, did you feel as if, like, it was better to put my child into special school, or did you think, oh, it's better to put in mainstream because she will be able to, like, develop really better around the other children that haven't got additional needs? That makes sense. Because, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's probably not going to sound great.
that's fine.
I looked at the specialist provisions within my local area,
Yeah,
and the one common thing that I found in specialist provisions was that the children didn't really get direct time with speech and language therapists or occupational therapists. It was more so all the staff are trained in these things, so it was delivered indirectly. For me, my youngest, I know she needs that direct support coming from a speech and language therapist. I know she needs the direct support coming from an occupational therapist. So for me, a specialist placement was never an option, purely just because I didn't agree with the way that things were done. I had done my research and
yeah,
I didn't agree with it. But doing home education with my oldest,
yeah,
currently right now there is no other support other than online learning,
yeah,
but eventually she will have the direct support from OT. She doesn't need speech and language.
yeah,
I just feel like her confidence has grown academically. She's gone from being bottom set to now she's going into year 9, but she's working at year 10 maths level. Academically, she's thrived. Mentally, she's thrived.
yeah.
Socially, she's doing a lot better as well. So she has friends outside of school. And currently now she's in a club that her auntie runs, and she'll be there for the summer. But she's doing a lot better. Honestly, there's times where it does get hard, it does get difficult, and it does get dark.
Yeah.
But I just feel home education was the best thing because putting her into a specialist setting, she wouldn't have got direct support anyways. And academic wasn't the only thing that I needed to work on. She needed help with her emotional regulation, her mental health. And now she's learned so much. Like she's learned things like cooking,
Oh,
which
that's
she can
good.
like make her own lunch and stuff. So we're doing a lot of independent skills. We go shopping together and we'll do the list and we'll count how much money she needs. So we're getting maths in there as well. Life skills. She gets therapy 1-to-1 I pay for privately. She does swimming. Horse riding is one I would like her to do, but she's not keen on just yet.
Yeah.
But there's so much more experience that she's had being out of school than
Yeah.
she would have ever got being in school. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with this. I don't
Love.
think a specialist school would have given her what I've been able to give her.
No, that's right, because I have heard like there have been loads of children that learn better at home than actually than school because they don't have that capacity or that extra experience or teaching for them to handle that that child. And also
Mm,
like I was gonna ask, like in terms of like home learning, like for example now, what would have happened if the school didn't actually like give you the funding, even though she was still under the school still? So then like would have that been more like think harder for you?
absolutely.
Because
It
obviously
would have been harder. I mean, they
so
didn't put it into place for like 5 months.
yeah,
So 5 months, the home learning was on me. It was all me going online, getting resources and doing the work with her and just going back through her books of year 7 and getting her up to date with year 7, then moving back into year 8. So I
yeah,
did. If it wasn't for the school saying, look, ideally, this is not an option that we would do,
yeah,
but we're going to do this under the circumstances of you're waiting for a tribunal. And they do welfare checks. So every month they will come over to the house, her mentor and the head of inclusion. They'll have a conversation with her. They'll have a conversation with me. How is things going? Just that
yeah,
check-in. And then they're gone. But it would have been difficult. I can't deny that
yeah,
because there's only so much I can teach, when it comes to secondary.
yeah,
And I'm grateful that she has an educational healthcare plan, and that does land on the local authority to provide the educational healthcare plan. And that's the thing, when you're a SEN parent, you have to learn all these things. What are
exactly.
your children entitled to, and how to put the support into place?
Yeah, that's right. Like with my like thing with the barn, like he's just been like granted like EHCP, so which is really good. So basically, like, I think I already knew that he would like need like that one-to-one support. And obviously because he's still young and stuff, and he's gonna be going into like the full time like the nursery in like reception. So then that will be where hopefully I'll be getting the actual draft in this like term holidays, fingers crossed, because I'm really waiting for it. I'm really waiting to see like what they're written in it. And that will give me a better understanding, thinking, okay, what does he need help with, especially like inside the actual like the education setting? Because then like at home it's different, isn't it? Because we know at home, okay, this is the support he needs outside of like nursery or school. But then like what support is he needing inside the actual like the education the setting? Because like I think when we go and pick him up, I know for a fact he likes doing his work. He comes back with loads of papers, like painting papers and stuff. And then like they say that he's doing his, I think, 1 to 3 numbers. I mean, like he knows all his like 1 to 10s and he's like the alphabet and stuff. But then now they're moving on to the actual 1 to 5s. And it's just like I would love to know like how they're teaching him inside, if that makes sense. But yeah, like
Mm,
I always thought as well, if like for example, if he like, if he like once his HCP is confirmed and stuff, and if we think that he will need to go into special, or will he need to go into mainstream? Because like if he goes to mainstream, I don't want him to be like the bullied, if that makes sense. Because like
absolutely.
like I've been bullied when I was young. I think it's more with my stutter when I was bullied, and because my stutter was really bad. I think now as I'm growing up and stuff, being a mom and stuff, my stutter has come on more since I've become like a full-time carer. I think it's because I haven't actually been like that, like the outgoing person how I was before. So I think like nerves just pick on me. And yeah, I don't want him going through that because it's not nice. But then I'm thinking like, will the same thing happen in special? But then it won't happen in special because I think the the, the children are like obviously like in their own world as it is, like with their needs, if that makes sense. But then like, do you sometimes like like, do you actually like believe in the evil eye? Because like there like for example, like you know how we all like some parents talk about their child now online and stuff and bringing more like the awareness. Do you sometimes think like obviously I don't like believe in like the evil eye. Like there are some people that will believe in evil eye even if they're some parent. I just want to get confirmation like the more we talk about a child, do you think like that has brought us evil eye in terms of like how they're behaving and stuff? That makes sense.
Um, do I believe in evil eye? Yes.
You do.
But do I think everything is evil eye? No.
Yeah.
So, for example, like I do believe in, I don't show my children online. I'm very protective
Yeah.
because there are predators. So,
Yeah.
online presence for my children, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Do I do it because of evil eye? No.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about the evil eye. Do I discuss my children?
Yeah.
Absolutely, but not to anybody who I think has some kind of resentment. I know they say evil eye can happen innocently as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, I believe in it, but I don't, it's not a central point of thinking. Like, I think things just happen. It's not necessarily evil eye. Does that make sense? But I
Yeah.
do believe you
Yeah.
can jinx it. As crazy as that sounds, I do believe you can jinx yourself. Like you could say, oh my God, everything's going great. And the next minute, everything turns upside down. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think like where it pertains to evil eye, like I in my book in chapter 2, I talk about my family saying to me that she couldn't speak because of evil eye. No,
Yeah.
that was not the reason
Yeah.
at all. You
Yeah.
know, they did tell me to get her like prayed on and stuff like that. And it was a big spiritual and religious battle because I still believe in God. I'm still
Yeah.
in my religion.
Yeah.
But what they were saying to me just didn't sit right with me. I didn't
Yeah.
think it was because of evil eye why she wasn't developing properly. So there was that whole cultural battle there.
Sure
But
then.
do I believe in evil eye? Yes. But is it my main point of call? Like, I don't think things happen because of evil eye, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, 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 that makes sense because it only depends how well that child is developing or like, what's making them do that, like, in the brain because like literally everything just like they triggers them, don't they? So it's just like,
Mm.
I don't think like obviously now since it's been like since I started the actual like the podcast and stuff, like obviously like what's gonna think I've been talking about him, but I haven't been posting his faces on the internet,
Mm.
always posting at the back of his head and
Yeah.
like just to show how he's I think stimming, how he's walking and stuff, and I'm thinking what's he doing, but then I don't think evil eye has impacted us because I don't really like actually like think of it as much that because I know his needs are going to be the same, he's always going to be hitting to an extent that hopefully when he grows up is going to calm down, but I've never thought that oh because I started talking about him or whatever it's kind of like created worse behaviors because I just think as he's growing, his meltdowns are increasing. So I don't really think about even as much because I don't think it's coming to my brain at all. But yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't come to mind neither. It's not, I mean, it was something that was mentioned before my child was diagnosed. Like my
yeah,
family were like, evil eye,
I've read in the
gin.
book,
And
yeah,
I was just like, it's not that. It's
yeah,
not that.
what's
You know
that?
what I mean? It's
Yeah,
really not that.
yeah.
So, yeah, it is a
So
common thing, especially in my culture.
yeah,
It's all, if something goes wrong, it's evil eye. And I'm like,
yeah,
sometimes bad things just happen, guys.
yeah, just natural, isn't it? Okay, so then basically in the term holidays, um, like how do you deal with the like obviously like when it comes to like summer holidays or Easter holidays or Christmas holidays, I think how do you deal with that in terms of like how do you work around your schedule during the holidays and then like how does home life look like different to like when
I'm
the
like, it's hectic. I'm like, it's hectic in the holidays. There's a lot going on. My God, we have to shut our windows. There's so much noises going on here. But this year is a bit of a difficult year because my older ones
yeah
wanted to go to a different club. Normally, I send them to the same holiday camp they've been going to since they were little.
Yeah.
So this year, my girls wanted to try a different camp, which their auntie is working at, the two
Yeah.
older ones,
Yeah.
and they've gone off there. So that's made me really scared to put my youngest in a camp. Um, Even though I could potentially put her back in an old camp, but even she doesn't want to go by herself because
Yeah.
of the age limit. She wasn't allowed to go with her two older sisters.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think I've been privileged in a sense of any camp they've gone to together as three. So
Yeah.
whereas she wasn't able to vocalize what was going on, the other two was, and
Yeah.
they would always protect their little sister. So this year is a really, really hard year. I'm looking at the camps and I don't feel comfortable putting her in any camp by herself, you
Yeah.
know. I've spoken to some of the parents at the school and I'm like, what camp are you putting in your kids? Because at least if she has someone familiar, then, you know, it would be okay. And a lot of them are like, oh, we haven't picked a camp. And so right now, me and my youngest are practically sitting in limbo. And I'm having to obviously set up my meetings and stuff for around about these times so I could take her out in the afternoon. So she's still
Yeah.
getting her activity,
Okay. Yeah.
but I haven't found her a camp. This is a new summer for
Oh
us, and
my
I
God,
don't know
it's
how we're going
so
to navigate
hard.
it.
Yeah.
She
So
likes swimming, so she always do swimming. So
yeah.
swimming's once a week. And I was trying to find a swim camp because I thought she would love that, but
Yeah.
there wasn't any swim camps available.
Wow.
So it's a new one for me. I don't know how I'm navigating this year. Normally, like I said, I'd put them all in the same camp and it would be
Yeah.
great. I'd get a few hours to myself.
Yeah.
But this year is completely different and I don't know how it's going to go.
Well, they hopefully works out well because, like, in London, like, do they offer loads of like some parent like the events? Do they offer like children events? Because in Birmingham, like in the West Midlands, they do offer loads like these stay and play centers or like these speech and language like because like right now and stuff obviously during this nearly 6.5 weeks I'm trying to find camps like yourself but then there's no camps for like so we talked about dealing with on term holidays really haven't we so let's talk about the book even though we chatted about a bit about the book let's do a recap so um, what was the reason you wanted to do the book? Thingy, did you wanted to obviously obviously like thingy one point you wanted to was share your experience and how you obviously navigated life around autism. Is there any specific chapter that you've actually like thought, okay, this meant a lot to me and I thought like let's obviously explain the side of my life into the book, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think to me, in all honesty, my truth, it's before we even get inside the book.
Yeah,
And I talk about, you know, the stages that I went through altogether, to be honest.
yeah,
So I have what I like them. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Right, yeah. So my seven sins, which is um, denial, shame, loss of hope, pride, envy, and finally acceptance.
Yeah,
It's a path that I went through. A lot of people compared it to grieving, which is fine, but these are all things that I went through. The denial, even though I knew that something was different about my daughter, I still was in denial. Like she was on the pathway, and even when I got the diagnosis, it was like I knew deep down inside, but I still couldn't wrap my head around it.
yeah,
And then obviously shame, not because of the autism diagnosis, but for
yeah,
everything that followed after it, people's prejudged notions
yeah,
and dealing with meltdowns outside, and then obviously loss of hope. So when she went into nursery and was denied the EHCP, I was like, how is
Oh,
this road going to go? Because obviously not a lot of people get accepted for educational healthcare plans the
yeah,
first time around. So
yeah,
there was a lot of loss of hope. And then pride, which kept me standing when I should have really fallen because I didn't want to ask for help. Like I
yeah,
felt like because I was her mum, I should know these things.
yeah,
So pride also stopped me from getting a lot of support.
yeah,
It was a bridge it was a wall rather than a bridge.
yeah,
And envy, I felt very envious of people who didn't live my life, who
yeah,
had, obviously, I had two children at the time. I thought my
yeah,
oldest was neurotypical.
yeah,
Parenting them wasn't the same as parenting her. And
yeah,
I felt jealous that
yeah,
other people got to do that. And then obviously finally acceptance, which was knowing autism, understanding autism, and
yeah,
accepting this journey that I was on.
yeah,
I feel like that was the key piece at the end, is
yeah,
like I accepted it. I made sure that I was knowledgeable and understood. And
yeah,
that's when things started moving smoothly. But the reason why I wrote this book is not for a self-help guide,
yeah,
none at all.
yeah.
Everyone's journey is completely
It's big
different.
different, yeah.
But I just felt like my side of the story, I didn't hear that often enough. I didn't hear about parents talking about the stage while they're waiting for their child to be diagnosed and what's going on in the family dynamics.
Yeah,
What did autism in my household? How did it reflect on her sisters? How
yeah,
did things happen? Nobody's really put that out there from beginning
no,
to end.
yeah,
And I feel like I've been privileged enough to come out on the other side and be
yeah,
at a place where I understand it. It's a
yeah,
normal part of my household, and I'm loud and I advocate. I'm not that fearful person without confidence that's just sitting in the background. I'm confident enough to stand strong. But if my child was having a meltdown and somebody was to look, I can confidently look back and be like, what are you staring at? And I
yeah,
wasn't there back then at all. And I'm confident enough to say to people when they're giving me unsolicited advice of keep it to yourself. I don't
yeah,
want to know,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
right. Yeah, yeah,
without
yeah,
being
yeah, I totally
apologetic.
relate. Yeah,
I don't
that's,
live apologetic anymore. And I really, the journey, I didn't start this way. People see me now and they think, oh, you're so confident, you've always been this way. No. And that's why I wrote the book. Because
yeah,
if you see where I'm coming from, someone who would cry at someone judging me or,
yeah,
stay in my house and avoid going shopping and doing online shopping.
yeah,
There's so many things that I avoided. And this wasn't me in the beginning. So I want people to know that if you're at that beginning stage where
yeah,
you don't know, you're living in limbo,
yeah,
honestly, read the book. You're not alone. And you will, with time, with acceptance and going through the motions and learning, you can come on the other side and you can be confident.
yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think it's always about like confidence and how you actually like they move past it, like try to keep like a level head because it's very hard to keep like a level head, especially around like all of our circumstances. And it's just like trying to like cope in different ways, even though all our journeys are different, but we're in these similar shoes. It's just it's very easy to lose ourselves in a process, but it's good enough where we have the courage to pick ourselves back up because I think that's what makes us even more stronger as parents and 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 also as I think SEN parents because like many don't even have that many don't even have that kind of like think support because of it, it takes ages to actually get support from the actual I think departments as well. We have to keep fighting as like in your shoes, you have to keep fighting and stuff, and to get your girls into the right pathway and touch wood, they are in the right pathway. Obviously, like it's still going to be a work in progress because we're still learning, aren't we? Like we're learning as parents as well, and it's just like try to like get a bit in understand because like do you sometimes think as well like obviously like like the God forbid if anything happens to us, what's going to happen to our kids? Like who's going to look after them? Like we look after them? Like that always crosses in my mind sometimes when I do have down days. If that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
normal. We all think about that. All
Yeah.
of us. Our
Yeah.
main concern is we're here, we're taking care of them, but what happens when we're gone? I think that's still till today in the forefront of my mind. That hasn't eased at all. And they say that some parents have the same level of trauma as a soldier coming back from war. The PTSD is
Oh, I've never heard of
high.
that. Wow.
Yeah, it's a saying. So for me personally, like I said, I always worry about when I'm not here. And
Yeah.
I think that's why I push my kids to be so independent and to navigate this world that is not built for them. Let's be
No.
realistic.
Yeah.
This world is not built for them. So
No.
I think as STEM parents, that is one of our concerns, the main concern.
Yeah.
But we can do it. It's something that contingencies should always be put into place. You should have a will. You should have somebody already assigned to take care of the children
Yeah.
if you pass away, God forbid. I know
Yeah.
that's something I did years ago because it was such a big fear. I
Yeah.
had to make sure everything was in place if I was no longer here. And
Yeah.
thankfully, I've done, which is why it's no longer at the forefront of my
Oh,
mind
that's
as
really
much.
good.
I know that
Yeah.
there's a plan in place.
Yeah. No, that's really good. So then just to wrap up, like thinking, I know like people can get this from Amazon, is it anywhere else, like in the bookstores or like thingy, do you
Not
hold
yet.
like the
I'm working
events?
with bookstores.
Oh, are you? Wow.
Yeah.
Let's
So
give that
right
a
now,
twist.
I will have another event in August sometime. I'm just sorting out the next event, but it
Perfect.
will be available hopefully in libraries. I have um, asked CAMS if they can have a copy in the waiting area and the child development team,
Yeah,
just because I think when you're in that waiting room, I talk about it in the book,
yeah,
having something to read that can resonate with a lot of parents, I feel would be important. That's the kind of places where the book needs to be.
yeah, because it's short. Because like as we're waiting in the waiting rooms, we're like waiting for it to be seen, or we're on our phone and stuff, and we're not actually reading kind of thing. So I think that would be the perfect place to put it in. So yeah, so that's perfect then. Is there anything else you want to say or and because
I
you covered a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think it's important for some parents to find their village,
yeah,
create their safe people,
yeah,
and like I said, work on their mental health
yeah,
and little self-care things. It's a long journey, and I don't ever want anyone to feel alone because there are so many support groups out there.
yeah,
If you just
that's
type in local offer in any borough, so let's just say you're from Birmingham, type in
yeah,
Birmingham local offer,
yeah,
it will show you everything that's available to you.
yeah,
Definitely don't isolate yourself. I know it seems hard, but
yeah,
there's a lot of us going through the same thing. And if you just go to these places and meet parents who are going through the same thing, it can be a lot easier.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. So I've learned a lot from you today, and it's been such a really good experience to get you on, talk about our journeys in different ways. And yeah, it's been really good. So I hope you enjoyed it.
No, I did. I did. I did. I hope you enjoyed it. I
No, I
hope you got
have.
a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
brilliant.
have.
I
So
hope
I
you
picked
continue
up a
to
lot of
enjoy the
tricks.
book.
Yeah. I'm gonna like to finish it. It's probably gonna take me more than like a week or 2 weeks, as you know, because it gets so like hectic. But I am on chapter 4, so I will be like trying to like my best to read it in the night. Well, to be honest and stuff, like once they're gonna be back, like, I think tomorrow. So then, so basically, I'm gonna catch up on probably like at least 2 chapters more, and then I'll continue it like in between.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
take your time. I get it. As STEM parents, free time is not something we usually have. So I
yeah,
get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, Amran. It was lovely meeting
Thank
you, and
you.
hopefully, fingers crossed, we should meet up. Like obviously like the
Definitely. I would love
pathways.
that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
definitely. Take care.
Take
Thank
care.
you for
Bye.
today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.